Good day, 360 family. It's the 5th of October, 2025. It is Sunday Fun Day. Another beautiful piece of art on the side there. This alien is getting fancier and funkier by the day. Guys, lots happening around the cricketing world. I've got some things to cover with you guys as well. Some heartfelt things that I would like to talk about. But first of all, there's a big game today. That is India and Pakistan women play against each other in the World Cup. It's a big one. South Africa obviously lost against England. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. So hopefully the women will bounce back. Not an ideal start to their tournament, getting bowled out for not a lot of runs. And then England chasing that down with 10 wickets in hand. So a really slow start. But we know they're a quality team and they will be back and they'll bounce back. First things first. First topic, Team India. We'll talk about that at the bottom in a moment. Let's just quickly go through the squad, guys. Captain Shubman Gill. That's the big news. There's a new captain for Team India's ODI team. So he's not only the Test captain anymore, he's now the ODI captain. Big move from Ajit Agarkar and the selection panel from Team India. That's a quality side, that, guys. There's not much more I can say about that. It's a quality team. Obviously, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli still featuring there. Yes, they step down from the other formats, but I think they still have a World Cup in mind, and that's maybe what's happening here. It's not a guarantee that both of them will be there with that next World Cup, and that's maybe part of the thinking when they made Shubman Gill the ODI captain as well. He's got a really good chance of being there, still younger, incredible form, fantastic leader. And I think this was the right move to have Rohit and Virat still there. Shubman will learn from two of the most experienced Indian players of all time, high quality, legendary players. So it's fantastic for Shubman to have two guys like that around. This will be for the Tour of Australia. It's later this year. It's around the corner, actually. So we all will be buckling up for high entertainment for a great series. It's always really tough fought cricket between these two countries, and I'm very much looking forward to that and to see what Shubman comes up with in the ODI arena. As we know, with the Test matches, he impressed a lot of people around the world. He impressed me greatly over there in England. Young captain, not easy over in England, and walking away with a 2-2 draw. So he's certainly capable of leading Team India. The other surprise is no Ravindra Jadeja. They're touring to Australia, remember, and the World Cup being in South Africa. One of the spinners will miss out. They've decided to go without Jadu for now. I won't say that is the end of the road for him. As we know, he's in wonderful form. He's bowling exceptionally well. He always chips in with the bat. But between him and Akshar Patel, not an easy decision. I think Akshar is definitely ahead in the T20 arena. This one was a bit more tricky, I think, for the selectors. Not an easy call, but I do still feel it's not the end of the road for Jadu. The other spinners, Washi Sundar, obviously, and also Kuldeep Yadav. Kuldeep Yadav, out and out, attacking bowler, wicket taker, with the others that all can chip in with both bat and ball. A really well-balanced team here, I feel. Really good seamers, combined with some great batting as well. Very interesting and important to note, no Jasprit Bumrah here. I don't know if he's being rested or if he's carrying a niggle. Maybe my team can help me out there, but he will obviously be part of the team plans moving forward. He's been rested. There's been spoken about that. There's been talks about it in length in the past, where they feel they're going to have to sort of manage his workload. It's an interesting series for him to rest. It's a big one over there in Australia, and it's an important one. As the conditions are relatively similar to South Africa. So it is an interesting move, but they will know what they're doing. That's for sure. They have some professionals making these kinds of decisions, and Bumrah is obviously a very important element in Team India's plans moving forward. So it's more important to have him fresh for the ultimate matches, which will be the World Cups. Not that the Tour of Australia is not big. But it will be great. It's obviously a test as well for some of the other seamers. So it's going to be great to see what Team India get up to over there in Australia. It won't be easy, as the Aussies know the conditions incredibly well, but there's no reason why Team India won't be able to compete or even beat Australia in their own conditions, as South Africa showed recently that it is possible. That Team Australia do have a couple of weaknesses that they are still working through, also sort of going through a transitional phase over there. So it is a good opportunity for Team India to take control there. All right, let's have a look at the T20 squad, guys, as this will be captained by Surya Kumar Yadav. So interesting dynamic is I've played a lot of cricket throughout my career with various captains. Even when I was captaining, we have different captains in different formats. We had Hashim Amla at one stage as Test captain, myself and ODIs and T20s. Then Faf du Plessis took over T20s. I was still ODI. So a little bit of a mixed bag there, but ultimately it's not the end of the world when you have multiple captains for the different formats. And maybe even a lot of people might argue that is the future for teams to specialize more, maybe even different coaches for every format. Who knows where the game of cricket will be going over the next 5 to 10 years. We might see Surya Kumar Yadav, for instance, captaining the T20 team with a coach, ODIs for Shubman with a coach, maybe a different captain for test matches with a different coach. Maybe that is where the game is headed. I'm not sure. But what I do know is it can work as long as you have a similar kind of culture, the same kind of language to a certain extent. You communicate between the captains what kind of brand we're playing and what we're trying to showcase out there as a team. So we see Bumrah back in this T20 side. Obviously, the workload won't be as much as with the ODIs. So clever thinking maybe, as you will still be ticking over the overs, but it won't be a marathon for him. So really just managing that workload. Guys, this is an all-out fire powerhouse team. All the guys who have been performing in the IPL, who've been playing good cricket leading up to this tour, have made the side. And I feel Team India are really benefiting from a clever cricket mind selection panel. I don't know how else to sort of explain that, but it feels to me like they're making quality cricketing decisions from the top. And you can see that in the way these teams line up and the way they are performing. Very consistent, and there's not a lot of weaknesses in this T20 team here, guys. You know what these guys are capable of. We've seen it in the IPL. Now the best crop and the group of the IPL, the individuals who perform there, find themselves together in one team, and it's all power from start to finish. Obviously, Sky, I've watched him captain before. I really like the way he approaches the game. Very good body language. Obviously, fantastic batter, but a great thinker of the game. Abhishek Sharma, in the form of his life, some people are saying that he's the best opening batter in the world right now in this format. So will be great to see what he gets up to over there in Australia. I think he will enjoy the conditions as there's quite a bit of bounce. He likes freeing up his arms over the offside, opening up that blade, covering that point to third man boundary, hitting sixes over there. He can also clear up or open up the leg side as well. All-round player, fantastic batter to watch. It will be interesting to see. So Akshar Patel also here. No Jadu, but that is no surprise in this format. It was more of a surprise for me in the ODIs as the selectors are sort of starting to show which way they are leaning for that World Cup. Kuldeep Yadav once again there, and not a lot of other surprises. Sanju Samson, great to see him there. It will be interesting to see. He will be the starting wicketkeeper between him and Jitesh Sharma, both quality players. Let's see what they get up to there. But very, very cool series to look forward to, guys. I think we all need to buckle up. It's going to be fire. There will be a lot of emotions involved always when these two teams battle. There's no love lost, and they play as hard as they can to represent their country to the best of their ability. On that note, I would absolutely love to cover some of the criticism I've been catching when I made some comments about sportsmanship. I never want to talk about politics or war or what happened in the past. I don't think we should ever forget the past. But we should all have it in us as humans to forgive. And that's what I was alluding to when there were no handshakes after that Asia Cup final. I would still like for humans to show the human side and to shake someone's hand and to show, I remember what happened between our countries. I'm not forgetting. But as two humans standing here playing a game of cricket together, I think the least we can do is just to shake hand and say, we were better today, well played. Now you go back to your country and we'll go to ours. And I think that's where sport should be left, is for players to ultimately go and represent the country and give the world hope. And I don't know how people misunderstood me, but for me, there's no room for politics in sport, as sport have the power to unite the world, a nation and the world. So I think people sometimes get a bit too emotional. What happened between Pakistan and India politically and with the war, it's got nothing to do with me. It affects me as I have deep sympathy for all families and people affected. But when it comes to cricket, and very similar to what the Indian captain and the Pakistani captain of the women's team said prior to this clash today, is we would like to focus on the cricket. Let's leave the other politics and the friction between the two countries for later, for after the game, or for whoever to deal with. But for now, we're going to focus on what we do best and what we love to do, and that is to showcase our skills, representing our country to the best of our ability and giving hope to our nation, and not only our nation, but to the world, to show that we can unite. All right, that's my 5 cents. Love me, hate me, do what you need to do. I caught some criticism, and it is what it is. I've absolutely no knowledge of politics. I would never want to comment on that. I merely was stating the fact that I would still like players to show the human side and remember what we're doing, and we're playing a game of cricket. All right, we're not at war on the cricket field. We're playing a game of cricket. All right, so let's celebrate the women's game today between two powerhouse nations who've played cricket for numerous years against each other, and I think the game of cricket should be celebrated at all times. All right, I'll leave that there. Let's move on to the next topic. I really hope the 360 family understand where I come from when I talk about that, and I'm really sorry if I upset anyone or if I disappointed anyone. I'm a South African former cricket player, and that's what I'm good at, and that's where my knowledge lies. So let's tap into that, guys. All right, as a batsman captain yourself, how did you manage mental fatigue, and what advice would you give to Gill to handle that? Look, at the age that he's now and where he's at in his career, I don't think he's carrying any mental fatigue, but it's definitely something to be aware of. As captain of two formats now, Tests and ODIs, can wear you down. And there's a lot of pressure as captain to carry. You're carrying the hopes of your nation. You want to represent to the best of your ability, and you also feel like you're carrying your whole team. But Shubman, the way that I sum him up, is someone that sort of taps in with his senior group and with the talent around him. He's not, I think he's smart enough, guys, to understand that it's a team effort and I can't do everything by myself. All he needs to focus on is to make the best possible decisions for his team and to bat to the best of his ability and to carry himself in a respectful manner, to make his country proud by the way he conducts himself with his body language, the way he speaks to other people, the way he shakes hands after games, whether they won or lost. And I think that's where Gill will absolutely nail it. And I want to wish him all the very best. But mental fatigue, not an easy one. I've always relied on people around me, some mentors that I've worked with throughout my career. You'll also have his coach and some friends in the team that he sort of connects with a bit better. He's got a Rohit and a Virat there in the ODI system to bounce ideas off, or when he's feeling the heat, to knock on Virat's door and say, you've been there, you've been here before. How do I handle the situation? How do I let someone know that he's not playing the next game? What's the best way of communicating that to someone? Or what do you think with regards to the strategy tomorrow in the second ODI against Australia? It's a must win. How about playing an extra spinner or an extra seamer or an extra batsman? So he's got a lot of experience and knowledge around him that he can tap into. It would be silly to try and take everything on by himself, and I think he just needs to sort of use all the resources that he's got and sort of find a bit of support there. Thanks, Zain. Good question that, as I've also gone through a lot of tests throughout my career. Last one before I quickly talk about the Australia-New Zealand T20 series that have come to a close, as Australia won that series with a Mitch Marsh 100. Mitch Marsh, rather, not Mars. He's not on Mars or Pluto or Saturn like that alien. But anyway, Mitch Marsh, wonderful, unbeaten 100 to win that series against New Zealand. Over there in New Zealand, Mount Maunganui, one of the most beautiful towns I've ever been to, by the way. If you've never been to New Zealand, make sure you stop over in Queenstown and also Mount Maunganui. Some incredible spots there. It's a bit cold in New Zealand for my liking, but a beautiful place nonetheless. We'll come back to that question. Let's quickly talk about this, as it was an interesting series, also a bit rain affected. But it all came down to this final match, as Australia was very clinical. Bowled New Zealand out for around 150, mid 150s, compared to that first one where both teams reached mid 180s. So this always seemed a little bit under par, but I did see that the wicket wasn't very easy. Australia got to 7 down under a bit of pressure as they lost wickets cheaply throughout that middle overs. But there was just one rock that was not movable, and that's Mitchell Marsh. And now all of a sudden, I'm seeing the reports of him being considered for the Ashes. Now, would that not be interesting to see the kind of approach that Mitch Marsh might bring to a test team? Played a lot of test cricket for Australia in the past. He's not part of this Ashes side as of yet, but there are some rumours that he's sort of done enough to, even it shows you guys in a different format, but maybe that is the missing link for Australia, to have someone like that, very attacking, who can take the bowling on in test match cricket, similar to the way England approaches the game, where they have a lot of attackers who take it to the bowlers and sort of unsettle the plans. I think Mitch Marsh might just be the answer for that, and he can also bowl, let's not forget. But well done to Australia, 2-0 clinical performance there. They seem to be ready for whatever is coming ahead, World Cups and all. They seem to be shaping up in this format. ODIs, a few more worries, but they have a great opportunity against India to sort of find their feet and to get the right combinations. All right. Mitch Marsh has been in exceptional form lately. 54, 88, 100, 85, 103 not out. Yeah, that is quite remarkable in T20 international cricket, as you don't play very often. It's not like an IPL where you play like 16 consecutive games in one tournament in the same place. I've always found that incredibly difficult in T20 international cricket. Early on in my playing days, is we would play 2 T20s, and then 6 months later, we would play another 2 in the UAE. And then only the following year in February, we would play like a once-off T20. I could never find my rhythm. I never found my rhythm in international T20s for that reason. So Mitch Marsh sort of taking care of that, not playing a lot of back-to-back T20s, but rather it's sort of staggered, and still coming up with these kind of numbers is absolutely remarkable. And it shows you, having played a lot of franchise cricket around the world, he sort of found his blueprint in T20 cricket. He understands how he wants to play with that new ball up front. He opens the batting now. I think it's the perfect spot for him. And fantastic guy, fantastic player. So congrats to him and his team. Well done. All right, India beat the West Indies. Clinical performance there, the bowling just too good. Remember, we spoke about this series, guys. I told you guys that because of that loss against New Zealand, that 3-0 loss for India, there might be an opportunity for the West Indies to sort of identify some weaknesses in the Indian lineup, but you have to score the runs. If you can't score runs, you can't play cricket, especially over there in India. When the ball starts turning more and more, you find yourself behind the game. There's just no way coming back, and that's exactly what happened to the Windies there. What is it, 162 all out? Never enough over there in India. With that first innings, you have to sort of get, at the very least, I would say 300 plus, just to give yourself a chance and to get into the game. Obviously, conditions dependent, but more often than not, the Indian conditions on day 1 and 2 is very favorable for batting. And then all of a sudden, it really speeds up and it gets incredibly hard from there on in. So West Indies missing out there and never really getting an opportunity to put India under pressure. And when India have the runs on the board with that bowling attack and the wicket starting to turn, it's pretty much one-way traffic. So well done to Team India there. Siraj, I see, featuring there with 4 wickets alongside Bumrah. And then the spinners, Jadoo, obviously in that second innings, causing havoc. Siraj once again, maybe getting a little bit of reverse swing. On the West Indies side, no one really coming to the party. The bowlers did a relatively good job, not outstanding. I mean, India declared 450 odd, but the damage was already done and the pressure was relieved. Jadoo also scoring 100, just sort of telling the selectors, you don't want to pick me. I'll just sort of let my bat and the ball do the talking. He's a wonderful player. I've got so much respect for Jadoo, and it would be great to see how he comes back from this, not making that ODI and T20 side. It will be interesting to see his bounce back, because he's always bounced back throughout his career. He's just one of those players, and he always strikes me as someone who adds incredible value. In the change room, he seems like a very laid-back, casual, nice guy. And then on the field, I mean, with bat, ball, and fielding, he really can turn the game upside down. So he will be upset, I think, and obviously disappointed not making that white ball team. But I don't think it's the end of the road for him, as he is a fighter and he might just find a way back into that side. It's a very healthy competition that the Indian players find themselves in, as high-quality, world-class, match-winning players are fighting for spots. And that's exactly the position you want to find yourself in. We went through a similar phase in South African cricket between 2008 and 13 in our test side. There was just no room to breathe because you knew someone else was knocking on the door constantly. Every time I would finish a test series, I would look back at the domestic scores and I would see just hundreds everywhere. And I would think, wow, there are 2 or 3 guys gunning for my spot here. But it's so healthy because it keeps you honest and it makes you go to the nets more often, makes you focus and value your wicket when you're out there, even more so than ever. And I think that's the kind of situation Team India find themselves in, a very healthy competitive environment. All right, let's take some questions, guys. As I've said a lot, we covered some really cool topics today. I hope you took my point well with regards to my comments in my show about India and Pakistan. I would never want to upset anyone, and I'm not a politician. I never want to get involved with that kind of stuff. All I see is sport on TV, and I like the spirit of sport, and I think it can unite the world. So please take that message in the right way. I promise you I'm not a bad guy, and I only mean good. All right, so I want the best for everyone, and that's what it comes down to. And I have a lot of respect for both the countries. All right, Rohit and Virat Kohli for 2027 World Cup. That is the big question. They find themselves in that ODI side. I think that is the reason they still are hanging on, because they want another World Cup for Team India. That is great to see. Whether it's going to happen, I don't know. Obviously, form dependent. Are they still playing enough cricket elsewhere? It will take a lot for them, I think, to be there. 2027 is still a long way away. It's not that far, but it's also not that close. There's a lot of cricket still to be played, and form to be kept. You know, they've got to score runs. And I think that should be the message from the selectors. As bigger legends as they are, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma will always walk into my team, and I will play them without even looking at where they've been or what they've been doing. But with the competition that Team India have these days, with the kind of quality they have, these two know they're going to have to go out and score runs. It would be a great asset for Team India in the World Cup to have these two there. But I think the most important thing for them and the priority is go and score runs and still add value. Obviously, with the experience, it goes without saying they will be adding value, but they still would want to feel proud about their performances. And I've no doubt the two of them will come through, and we will see them at the 2027 World Cup. That is my call. That is my 5 cents. I think we will see them there, and I think they will go and score the runs. But not only that, they will also guide a lot of youngsters along the way and help Shubman to become a great captain. All right, so that's the role I see for the two of them. Lorette, you sound South African. Can we not talk about the Springboks for a little minute? The Springboks just won the Rugby Championship, guys. First team ever to win back-to-back championships, back-to-back World Cups. These guys are breaking records like it's like they're eating sweets. It's ridiculous. Absolutely incredible game yesterday. Once again, tricky game against Argentina at Twickenham, but I thought they handled the pressure really well. It was a convincing win, even though the scoreline says 29-27. We were sort of sure of the win even before the final whistle, and Argentina sort of had a consolation try at the back end. Lorette, back to your question. What is the most important life lesson cricket taught you? For me, it's resilience. Resilience is one of the most valuable things a human being can have. To always have the ability to stand up after failing or after falling down. And there's so many greats of the world. I think of Tiger Woods, the Roger Federers. Now that I'm thinking tennis, I'm thinking Djokovic, Andy Murray, even with all his injuries. The greatest players in the world always find a way to bounce back. And their message, Federer's message the other day that I saw once again was the biggest thing, the biggest skill that I had was to sort of just take the loss, to sort of find a way to become better at it and to go again. And that will always be, like, you can go and Google some of the best successful stories out there in the world. There's always a link to that where the guy had to be resilient. Just keep your head up and keep going. Just keep your head up, keep going. Believe in your dream, keep going. Don't stop. So Loretta, I think that's a fantastic learning lesson, or a lesson learned for me throughout my career as well. I can definitely relate to that. But I would say the biggest lesson for me was because of the nature of sport, it sort of really taught me to keep my feet on the ground no matter what happens, to stay humble, to never see myself better or bigger or more important than anyone else, that we're all human beings. Sort of relates to my message earlier with the whole India-Pakistan debacle that I went through with the comments that I made. I mean, people were talking about boycotting the show because of that. And I just went like, whoa, that's not what I was saying. I'm talking about sport here. But yeah, just to stay humble, I think Lorette was probably my best lesson. And the game of cricket would never allow me to get ahead of myself or to become arrogant or to see myself as more important than anyone else. And that is the beauty of sport once again. It keeps your feet on the ground. And so alongside resilience, I think those two words stand out throughout my career. So thanks for that, Lorette. Nice deep question. As we're coming to a close, I see I'm hitting 30 minutes here. That's generally the time I would like to close things down. But on the SA women, taking on the New Zealand women tomorrow, I see a question here. South Africa's women were bowled out for 69. Yes, disappointing. Against England, remember, Team England have won a lot of World Cups. They're very experienced when it comes to World Cups. It's no excuse for Team South Africa, who have been playing incredibly good cricket leading up to this World Cup, but it's not too late. It's not the end of the road for them. I believe they will come back. What advice would you give them to recover mentally and regain momentum? I think just to remember what they've been doing good over the last few years. Remember where your strengths are. Remember your weaknesses. Understand how to respect the game and to build a foundation in order to have the opportunity to identify moments where you can take a hold of the game. So they never had the opportunity against England because they were all out for 69. There was no one prepared to lay that foundation and just to go, you know what, these conditions are a little bit tricky. Let's lay back. Let's go into first and second gear for 5 to 10 overs. Let's just give ourselves a chance here. So I think for them just to remind themselves of the basics of what's been working for them and where are the possible pitfalls and the weaknesses within our side. I think that's really important. For the Proteas women, once again, a very tough match. Team New Zealand, very experienced, a lot of match winners there, but there's no doubt Team South Africa, the South African women have the ability to win that game. And it will be an important one. I will be buckled up. But for now, all focus will be on the Pakistan-India women's game. And I want to wish all the teams all the very best throughout this World Cup. Guys, I will catch you in the coming week. I will be recording a show. Let's all stay human. Let's remember the human side and the human side of humankind. Lots of humans in there, sorry. But you know what I'm getting at. Please don't boycott the show. I swear I'm just giving my best and honest opinion about sport and cricket. Lots of respect for all other countries and lots of respect for what Pakistan and India have gone through, and lots of sympathy and condolences to all families affected from the bottom of my heart. Love you guys. Have a fantastic weekend. Sunday, that is. It's family day. Put your phones down. Forget about AI for 1 minute and just look at your family, your friends, and appreciate life. Lots of love, and I'll see you in the week. Bye now.